Hi, I am Okolosha Moses, and we are the host of Spheres of Life. We discuss matters in all parts of life, related matters from life matters, from careers, jobs, businesses, academics, and relationships, ensuring the right knowledge to be known. We hope to eliminate the high level of ignorance in major areas of life to help people become successful career persons, successful businessmen and women, peace, harmony, and love in any relationships, whether you're in Africa, America, Australia, Europe, or Asia. So join us every week. In this week, at season 3 episodes, we will be discussing on the topic titled "Why Are My Plans in Life Not Working Accordingly?" and how to easily achieve any set goals.
Welcome back once again to Life Matters podcast. Still on the topic 30 keys to record success. And today we'll be looking at episode 11 titled Quitting Bad Habits as one of the keys to record success. You must quit bad habits. On our last episode, we discussed on learning from the best, which we moved further to how you can find a good role model and mentor, and steps that could also help you learn from them. You had listened to that episode if you haven't. Why is it so hard to change? If you know something is bad for you, why can't you just stop? About 70% of smokers say they would like to quit. Drug and alcohol abusers, struggle to give up addictions that hurt their bodies and tear apart families and friendships. And many of us have unhealthy excess weight that we could lose if only we would eat right and exercise more. So why don't we do it? What is that thing that we find difficult, that has been making us not to do that thing that we need to do to us to live normal, for our habits not to be detrimental to us. NIH funded, scientists have been searching for answers. They've studied what happens in our brains as habits form. They found clues to why bad habits, once established, are so difficult to keep. Like I always tell people, that habit is one thing that is, easy to create but difficult to break. And they are developing also strategies to help us make changes we had like to make in our lives. Habits play an important role in our health, says Dr. Nora Voko, Director of NIH's National Institute on Drug Abuse. Now, understanding the biology of how we develop routines that may be harmful to us and how to break those routines and embrace new ones could help us change our lifestyles and adopt healthier behaviors. Habits can arise through, repetition. They are a normal part of life and are often helpful. We wake up every morning, shower, comb our hair, or brush our teeth without being aware of it. Voko says, in quote, "We can drive along familiar routes on mental autopilot without really thinking about the directions. When behaviors become automatic, it gives us an advantage because the brain does not have to use conscious thought to perform the activity." Voko says, "This frees up our brains to focus on different things." Habits can also develop when good or enjoyable events trigger the brain's reward centers. This can set up, potentially harmful routines such as overreacting, overeating, smoking, drug or alcohol abuse, gambling, and even compulsive use of computers and social media. The general machinery by which we build both kinds of habits as the same, whether it's a habit for overeating or a habit for getting to work without really thinking about the details, says Dr. Russell Podrak, a neurobiologist at the University of Texas Austin. Both types of habits, are based on the same types of brain mechanisms. But there are one important difference, says by one of the doctors. And this difference makes the pleasure-based habits so much harder to break. Enjoyable behaviors can prompt your brain to release a chemical called dopamine. You might have heard of that. If you do something over and over and dopamine is there when you're doing it, that strengthens the habit even more. When you're not doing those things, dopamine creates the craving to do it again. Podrak says, in quote, "This explains why some people crave drugs, even if the drug no longer makes them feel particularly good once they take it. In a sense, then parts of our brains are working against us when we try to overcome bad habits. These routines can become hardwired in our brains." Voko says, and the brain's reward centers keep us craving the things we are trying so hard to resist. The good news is, humans are not simply creatures of habit. We have many more brain regions to help us do what's best for our health. Humans are much better than any other animal at changing and arranging our behavior toward long-term goals or long-term benefits. Now, a psychologist at Florida State University says, now, his studies on decision making and willpower have led him to conclude that self-control is like a muscle. Once you have exerted some self-control, like a muscle, it gets tired. After successfully resisting a temptation, the Masters research shows willpower can be temporarily drained, which can make it harder to stand firm the next time around. In recent years, though, he's found evidence that regularly practicing different types of self-control, such as sitting up straight or keeping a food diary, can strengthen your resolves. We found that you can improve your self-control by doing exercises over time. Any regular act of self-control will gradually exercise your muscle and make you stronger. Note that there is no single effective way to break bad habits. It's not one size fits all. There is no single way to break one bad habit. It is not one size fits it all. One approach is to focus on becoming more aware of your unhealthy habits, then develop strategies to counterpart them. For example, habits can be linked, in our minds to certain places and activities. You could develop a plan, say to avoid walking down the hall where there is a candy machine. Resolve, to avoid going places where you usually smoked. Stay away from friends and situations linked to problem drinking or drug use. Another helpful technique is to visualize yourself in a tempting situation. Mentally practice the good behavior over the bad. If you will be at a party and want to eat vegetables instead of fattening foods, then mentally visualize yourself doing that. It's not guaranteed to work, but it certainly can help. One way to kick bad habits is to actively replace unhealthy routines with new, healthy ones. Some people find they can replace a bad habit, even drug addiction, with another behavior like exercising. It doesn't work for everyone. I must tell you that it doesn't at all. But certain groups of patients who have a history of serious addictions can engage in certain behaviors that are ritualistic and, in a way, compulsive, such as marathon running, and it helps them stay away from drugs. These alternative behaviors can counteract the urges to repeat a behavior to take a drug. Another thing that makes habits especially hard to break is that replacing a first learned habit with a new one doesn't erase the original behavior. That is another thing you must note. Rather, both remain in your brain, but you can take steps to strengthen the new one and suppress the original one. Ingoing research is stated. Now, imagine using to study differences between first learned and later learned behaviors. Some NIH-funded research is exploring whether certain medications can help to disrupt hardwired automatic behaviors in the brain and make it easier to form new memories and behaviors. Other scientific teams are searching for genes that might allow some people to easily form and others to readily suppress habits. Bad habits may be hard to change, but it can be done. Enlist the help of friends, co-workers, and family for some extra support. What are the steps needed to take to break bad habits? What are the steps you need to take to break bad habits? Avoid tempting situations. If you always stop for a donut on your way to work, try a different route. It might be funny, but it works. If you always stop for something at a particular point, try a different route. If something have been making you, to exhibit those habits, avoid yourself being found with those things. If it is your friends, avoid going out with them. Avoid being found with them. Avoid associating with such friends. Keep off. No, you keep fatty foods, cigarettes, alcohol, and other tempting items out of your home. Any of the bad habits you've been fighting, struggling with, take those things out of your home. Take those things out of your way. Take those things out of your home. Wherever you are found, take them out. I know it requires discipline, but you need to do that to break out from such habits. Another step, you must replace unhealthy behaviors with healthy ones. Replace unhealthy behaviors with healthy ones. Try exercise, a favorite hobby, or spending time, with family. Yeah. Replace unhealthy behaviors with healthy behaviors. You don't stop it, but continually doing it. But in between that gap, in between that space that you usually practice or establish that certain behavior, learn to do something different from that thing that you usually do. If you usually do that thing, establish that habit in your quiet times, at that time associate with people. At that time, don't be in solitary confinement. Converse with people, be with people, keep yourself busy, and you will see gradually that habit will go off. Another step, prepare mentally. If you can't avoid a tempting situation, you have to prepare yourself in advance. Think about how you want to handle it and mentally practice what you plan. Another step, enlist support. Enlist out support. Ask your friends, ask your family and co-workers to support your efforts to change. That this is the habit you've been battling with over the years and you really want to change. In any way they can help you, tell them to support you, to encourage you in any way they can, and not discourage you. And don't meet with the kind of friends who will sought for your destruction, who will never tell you the truth to your face, who will always encourage you, give you kudos when they know you are going off life. Don't be found with such kind of friends. Don't associate yourself with such kind of people. Another step to break that bad habit, you reward yourself for small steps. Yeah, reward yourself for small steps. At every point, reward yourself. After accomplishing a given task, reward yourself. Give yourself a healthy treat when you've achieved a small goal or milestone. Give yourself a treat. Enjoy that moment and enlist out other goals to pursue. And then keep moving. You keep moving. You keep moving. And those habits that have been holding you back, those habits that have been hindering you, from attaining to that height you've always desired, will go off your life gradually. Like I said, habit is one thing that is very easy to create but difficult to break. It is a gradual process. Do practice these things constantly, consistently, and you will see yourself becoming a brand new person. What have we said so far? And how do you break out from bad habits? Avoid tempting situations. Again, replace unhealthy behaviors with healthy ones if you want to break out with bad habits. Prepare mentally. If you can't avoid tempting situations, prepare yourself in advance. Think about how you want to handle things. Enlist support. Ask friends, families, co-workers, relatives to support your effort in changing, and reward yourself for every small steps you've ever taken, for the goals you've ever achieved, the success you've achieved. Reward yourself. and the sky would be your limit. After you've said goodbye to bad habits, what is the next thing you need to do to continue succeeding? Well, that will be discussed on our next episode. So continually stay put. Please do subscribe, download and share to others you desire also a change for. Do not forget also to throw in any question at all times. Your feedback is always welcome. See you on our next episode.
Like Akolosho Moses' page on Facebook at Akolosho Moses, Instagram at Akolosho_Moses, Twitter at Akolosho, LinkedIn at Akolosho Moses, and YouTube at Akolosho Moses Hope. Don't forget to get his latest books via his bookstore link at his Facebook page at Akolosho Moses. Thank you and have a very wonderful time.